Elijah, what's the best thing you like about doing Wilfred? Are you, to pose the second question on top of that, are you still looking for different things to do in your career and stuff like that? So you
always
diversing yourself?
Yeah, I'm always looking for different things. I mean, the show's great because we only shoot over 3 months, so it affords me a lot of time to do other things. What do I love most about it? I don't know. It's a joy to come to work every day. I love where our story goes. I love the comedy, but I also love how cerebral it gets and how dark it gets. But I also just simply love. I love our crew. I love working with Jason. You know, David Zuckerman and Randall Einhorn are incredible. Randall's our director. He's amazing. I don't know. It's creatively always very exciting, and it's a challenge for me because I'm relatively new to the comedy space, so it gives me an opportunity to mess around in that world. It's a blast. We have a lot of fun. We do some ridiculous shit. I come to work every day. I'm like, man, I get to do this today. It's ridiculous. It's a lot of fun.
I'm really worried about Ryan because I really love him.
Everybody should be worried about him.
So I'm really worried that one day that this show that I love is going to end up that either he was dead or in a coma.
He's not dead.
He's not dead.
It's not a dream. It's not lost.
How do you want to see? How would you like to see Ryan's story end one day?
I'd like to see it. I mean, I don't want to jinx it. I actually just recently said this. I did a Q&A and someone asked that question. And I don't know. My dream ending is kind of that Ryan may not need Wilfred anymore. That Ryan gets to a place where he's recovered to the point where he can kind of handle it on his own. I love the idea of. I mean, it reminds me of this movie Harvey. I don't know if anyone's seen it with Jimmy Stewart, but Harvey, I think, exists for Jimmy Stewart in a similar way. At the end of that film, when the insane asylum director sees Harvey 2, Elwood gives him away. And I think there's something kind of beautiful about that ending. I think we'll find a much more twisted way to do that, but I don't know. I've always liked it.
With all that he's handling, the whole thing with Fiona's character, there's and then you have a love interest. So with all this stuff that he's already dealing with, do you think he could handle a relationship?
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I think he thinks he can. And I think he is, ultimately he's further along than he was last season. He's not close to killing himself anymore. He's also not isolating himself anymore. And the biggest growth that we've seen in Ryan this season is that he actually he's wise to Wilfred. He's wise to Wilfred's manipulation. And he's a little bit further ahead, or at least he tries to be. So it makes for a lot more of an even playing field, I think, between the two of them, which has been a lot of fun. It's been fun.
Sorry, how much input do you have on the character of Ryan as Elijah? How much do you get to say, oh, I don't know that Ryan would say that, or I don't know that would be something?
Oh, plenty. I mean, it feels very much like a collaboration on set, and I think if anything feels unnatural or it doesn't fit. I mean, I certainly always speak my mind, and we have the kind of working relationship with everyone that those thoughts are heard and taken into account. I mean, David's great, Jason's wonderful, Randall's incredible, and I think we all work. We all, I think, share a similar vision for the show and for the characters as well. So there's not really, I don't really have issue often. I'm always quite pleased with the way things are going. Yeah. Sure. 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 I mean, the beauty of the way that we shoot the show is that I actually don't have to pay too much attention to Ryan's psychology because everything is through his eyes and Wilfred's there. So I play everything like it's actually happening. And there are times where he questions himself and he questions Wilfred. And those are times where he's psychologically breaking down a little bit because he's confused and he's trying to make sense of things in a confrontational way. But outside of that, he's accepted what he sees. And he doesn't really pay too much mind to it, and we're not ever outside of that. If we were to have a third perspective, I think his psychology would come into play more, but it doesn't really come into play. It's only for us outside of it, watching it and observing it, to question. So my job as an actor is actually made a lot simpler. I just simply accept everything at face value. Totally. Totally.
And real quick, Elijah, off topic, essentially attached to the Hobbit films. I thought Frodo wasn't in the film.
He's not.
Is he in the film?
He's in one of them, I think. I did it. He is not alive during that time, you're right.